This one's very special. This is Founder's Curmudgeon. You're gonna read that, it's in cursive. Curmudgeon. Curmudgeon means miserable person, difficult person, someone who's not fun to be around, just hard-headed, you know, just misery. Ironic name for a beer because there's so many people who drink beer because they're miserable. So yeah, they're very curmudgeon. Interesting though. Now I have hope in this because I have yet to have a bad Founder's beer. They are all phenomenal. They're all delicious. They're all full of flavor and just a really, really great brewery. This one is coming in at a whopping 9.8% ABV. All right, that is staggering. It's a very, very, very strong beer. The front says it's an old ale brewed with molasses and oak aged. Excuse me, oak aged. All right, so it's an oak aged beer. Curmudgeon. The miserable looking man on the front. Look at him. He's got that, like, what are you looking at? Punk face. He's like, yeah, just drink it and shut up. That's the kind of face he's making. All right, by the way, much higher alcohol, a little bit of a higher price, $3.99. Hard to find. This one came from that Connecticut. I have a secret Connecticut store that I don't want to divulge the information for yet because they have a couple beers that they carry, they're just not in stock, and I'm waiting to get those before I tell everyone about it. So you'll see. Wow, that's a really interesting smell. I never quite smelled anything like that before. Wow, you can... It smells like caramel, but like a tangy, sour caramel. I smell malt in there. Kind of smells like a bourbon. It smells really tangy though, and it smells boozy. Like you can smell the alcohol in there. I'm sniffing this and I'm reminiscing on, like, you know, Double Bastard by Stone and Dirty Bastard by Founders. Just a boozy, you know, a boozy beer. It smells really interesting though. Got my tiny mug. Here we go. A murky copper color. Really interesting color there. Not much of a head, but could just be how I poured it, who knows. Or it could be the alcohol content. Smell changed a little bit in the mug. Same sense, just lost the booziness. It just smells like sour caramel malt kind of bourbon smell. Anyway, cheers. Here we go. Yeah. That's boozy. It tastes like a barley wine. It tastes very strong. It tastes sweet. Not a whole lot of carbonation. I mean, that's why it's such a small head on this one, because it's not very carbonated. I mean, you know, the carbonation is there. It's not like, it's not a flat beer, but it's certainly not a very overly refreshing, bubbly beer either. You definitely taste that booze though. The flavors that I'm getting, it's actually really good. I don't know what kind of category to put this in. I don't know what style of beer this is besides, you know, an aged beer, an oak aged beer. Old ale, I guess, is the style. It's an oak aged ale. Really interesting. I don't think I have had this type of flavor, like, again, Stone's Double Bastard tasted kind of like this. You know, and there's two different barley wines that I've had that taste very similar to this. Goes down real easy though. It's super smooth. There's really not that much of a bitter kick in the end, which the other ones that are very, very high in alcohol content, you get that real bitter finish, almost throat burning. like you're taking a shot of something. This one's very smooth, very, very pleasant to drink. Taste the malts. There's definitely bourbon flavor in there, like Kentucky bourbon. You can taste molasses in there as well. It's not that strong, but you do get that molasses sweetness as opposed to like a cane sugar or something. That's really interesting. I like this a lot, and it's kind of hard to explain why. I really like the flavor. It's different than other things. I mean, so far I've had such a plethora of different styles of beer, and I like them for different reasons. This to me is just a really, really good, sophisticated, very deep flavored sipping beer. I like porters, I like stouts, I like dark beers. At the same time, I like IPAs for that real kind of nipple twisting bitterness you get from there. Just a real like kind of a pucker face type beer experience. I like some of the wheat beers that I've had so far too, for like a summertime really refreshing beer. This is in its own class. This is a very sophisticated sipping beer to me. This would be the same if I was in the mood for like a nice scotch or a nice glass of bourbon or something. I may be in the mood to do something like this. It's a very similar experience, but in beer form. Hopefully that makes sense to you. I think that if you are a scotch drinker or a bourbon drinker, you like different types of whiskeys, you would really, really appreciate this type of beer. This particular flavor profile very much fits a whiskey drinker. All right, so for whatever that's worth, that's definitely recommended for those type of people. Gus, man, hasn't snored for like the last 4 or 5 hours. Totally cool, sitting there. Decides to go to bed and snore it up right now. Poor timing, I guess. Pretty murky. Doesn't look very filtered or anything like that. I like that. I think I've grown to like unfiltered beers. They are, packed full of flavor. Not to say filtered beers aren't, but from my experience, I like unfiltered beers too. This one's phenomenal. It's really, really good. I'm happy to say that Founders has kept their streak. Still have not had a bad beer from Founders. Amazing. There you go. Super smooth, super sophisticated. There's a lot of flavors going on there, and it's really, really well balanced. As you're sipping it, you're picking up on all these subtleties of flavors, like caramel and bourbon. The oak comes and goes, that woodiness, of it being aged in the oak barrels. It's on the front, and some sips and other sips I don't really get it so much. I'm getting more malt, or I'm getting like a smoky flavor, or I'm getting that sweet molasses flavor. So it really is a sophisticated, I've used that word many times in this review so far, but that's the only way I can really describe it. It's very much a deep flavor. It's not like, okay, you get something blueberry flavored. Oh yeah, the blueberry, there it is. You got a lot of different flavors that are working together in harmony to make this master flavor. And it's not something to guzzle. It's not something to swig down. It's something to really take your time and enjoy. And particularly because it's high, in alcohol, you do want to take your time to enjoy it. So looking at the bottle here, it says 50 IBUs on the side, which is actually very surprising. IBUs is the International Bitter Units, which basically shows you how much hops is in the beer, how much bitterness. And that's shocking. I don't taste 50 IBUs. I don't taste a real bitter hoppiness to this at all. Quite the contrary. So that is shocking to me. But 9.8% alcohol. This will do you in, so be careful because it is delicious. So sip on it, don't guzzle it. So that's Founders Curmudgeon. That's so funny. It's such a odd name for beer. A hard-headed or thick-headed, stubborn, well, actually I shouldn't say that. Miserable person is a more accurate description for Curmudgeon than stubborn. That really has nothing to do with it. I just kind of relate the two together. Miserable and stubborn usually go hand in hand. But anyway, stubborn, unhappy, miserable person is what I'm thinking of when I think of that word. Which is very seldom used, by the way. You really don't hear that term very often. But anyway, Founders, another home run, totally awesome. I'm hooked on this beer. Not this particular one. This is very good, of course. But I mean, this brewery, Founders, is amazing. I'll have to try everything they make because everything has been good. I'm on a personal mission to try to find a bad Founders beer, and I don't think I'm going to be successful with that, but we'll see. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Well, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.